The flimsy allegations being perpetrated that the bill will undermine academic freedom are deliberate mischief-making and disingenuous.
Minority in Parliament disputes claim by Speaker there was a competitive tender bidding that led to the appointment of Sir David Ajayi as architect for the new parliamentary chamber.
Appoint a service provider for services like this without the entity tender committee, as far as I'm concerned, even if Sir David Ajayi has got an appointment letter, that letter is null and void.
And it's official. Modern Ghana journalists charged with conspiracy to commit crime, stealing and unauthorized access to electronic records. We have details as police prepares for a showdown in court. Meanwhile, Majority Leader wants a thorough probe to unravel the truth.
In principle, if it did happen, certainly not the best for us as a country. Not only the government, and not only those people who might have done that, but for us as a country. It plummets our image, and it should be watchful.
And in business, petroleum prices are expected to witness another reduction this week.
And in sports, former Minister for Youth and Sports, Nilante van der Poel, has condemned the government for flying supporters to Egypt for the Africa Cup of Nations.
And later, 60 points and more. Opokuwari Senior High School and Presec Legon put up dominant display to reach semi-finals of ongoing National Science and Maths Quiz competition.
Here are the final scores. St. Ignatius of Loyola Senior High School has 21 points. University Classic Senior High School has 45 points. Opokuwari School has 64 points.
Details plus the latest from a contest involving last year's finalists at Disadel College.
You want to join us with your views and comments? Send us a WhatsApp 0244340437. My name is Evans Mensah.
I am MFR Power. Newsnight on headlines on Newsnight is brought to you by Eden Heights. Eden Heights, welcome home.
And Newsnight is brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. And let's start from the Gender Ministry, because tonight the Gender Minister, Cynthia Morrison, has justified the decision to send a 6-year-old boy whose hand was amputated after enduring torture at the hands of his stepmother to the Usu Children's Home, despite the fact that the children's parents are all alive.
Now, this follows criticism she had made a U-turn after pledging to personally cater for the boy when he was discharged from hospital in February this year. We'll hear from her shortly, but first, my colleague Richard Kojonyako recaps this issue.
When I met Kofi, I wanted to bring him home and then take him to school. That was official thing I said. I didn't even mention home. I said I was going to take him to school in Maryland, where I have a house and I have other children that I have not adopted but are fostering. But I was told by my ministry that because I'm the
The screams are that of 5-year-old Kofi, whose left hand was cut by his stepmother months ago. His screams and predicament pricked the conscience of many. In the midst of all that, Gender Minister Cynthia Morrison intervened.
I run a school. So for Kofi, he's Kofi and I am Ifwa. After he's been discharged, and we know that he's going to have education that is going to be sponsored by me, not by the ministry, by me. Any other monies that comes in, I would make sure that we have a fixed account for him.
The assurances by the Gender Minister to take care of Kofi, whose left hand has been amputated now, gave many hope. A few months after the promise, Kofi is neither at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital nor at Swedru, where the minister promised to take him to and to care for him until he completes his secondary education. The family of the little boy is not happy with the developments. Grandmother of Kofi, Victoria Mensah, wants the child to be given back to them. The minister says she will take care of Kofi. Her words were clear enough that she would take him to Swedru and see him through school. But now Kofi finds himself in the children's home. The child was taken to the children's home. In fact, later when I visited, I was displeased. We are pleading that we should rather be supported to take care of the child instead of keeping him at the children's home. We are not really happy. Richard Kwejinyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
But the gender minister, Cynthia Morrison, says the pledge to get the 6-year-old enrolled in a school she owns at Aguna Swedru will be fulfilled only after a procedure to get a prosthetic arm for the boy is completed later this year. On suggestions, she's backtracked after promising to adopt the boy. She's been explaining she discovered her position bars her from doing so after she made the promise. She was speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the Canada Independence Day celebrations in Accra last night.
I cannot adopt a child, which I understand, because all the other children are my children. And so if I have to bring him home, the requirement is that I have to get a care order before I bring him home. So when they called me that he was about to be discharged, I called the hospital, I sent a car to pick the grandmother and Kofi to Osu, which I told them, because she took Kofi there because I could not bring him home. And the reason I did not take him to school was because of the amputated arm. I couldn't see him go to school like that. And then when in April the doctors fix the prosthesis for him, then they see him with another hand. It's going to be a different impression, and the children are going to look at him differently. So he's in Osu currently, going to school, and the grandparents have the right to Kofi because I have not adopted him. There's no document on him, but he's going to be there until they fix the hand. And in September he goes to school. As the doctors tell me, they're going to fix it in August. And I would love that you go to Osu Children's Home and see the condition there. It is not the Osu Children's Home that was shown by Anna some years ago that everybody has that conception. It's a different place altogether. I told you, I go there unannounced. I go there, and if the caretakers there, I'm amazed at the job they're doing. So it isn't that the boy has been abandoned. Even when I go and I give him gifts, the requirement is that I cannot give it to only him, I give it to all the children, because I can't treat him differently from the other children. So the story I am hearing like I have abandoned the boy and the grandmother wants to come and take him back. I don't have a problem if the grandmother feels she can. Because when I went to the hospital, the grandmother told me she herself, including the mother of the child, even getting money to transport them to the hospital is a big challenge.
So you heard the gender minister. But let's go to our correspondent, Richard Kojonyako. He's been following the story from the very onset. He joins us on the line. Now, Richard, let's find out about the status of this boy. You saw him whilst he was at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital and now at the Osu Children's Home. What's his condition?
Well, exactly. When the boy was at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, he was being cared for very well because that is a hospital, and then he was undergoing a lot of treatment. Initially, when the boy was brought in, he had a lot of marks, bruises, and some rashes on his body. And so the medical officials here had to take care of him. And it was, these things were almost vanishing. But when I visited the boy at the Osu Children's Home, and I saw all of these things back on the boy's body. The boy had some sores developing in the head. And the sight I saw the boy, and as compared to when he was at the hospital, there was a marked difference between these two treatments. And so that is really the condition of the boy at the moment.
But at what point did we discover that this boy had been sent to the Osu Children's Home? Because when the minister came for him from other Cape Coast or from his family, what did she actually tell the family before taking the boy from them?
Well, for that, we do not know. I decided as a journalist to follow up on the story I've started. So when I went to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital to look at the boy, I was told that the boy is no longer, that the minister has come for the boy. So there and then I decided to give the minister a call to ask the whereabouts of the boy. And the minister indicated to me that the boy was with her. And to back her claims, she sent me a picture of the minister and the boy. And the first one she sent me, the picture was not that clear. So she sent a second one, and then I saw the minister really clearly with the boy. So there was no mention that the boy was at the Osu Children's Home. So I waited for about 3 weeks, and I decided to check what exactly is happening. So I met the parent, and the family of the boy, on my way to the social welfare to check on the donations that were in support of the boy. And it was there that I discovered that the boy was at the Osu Children's Home. So I decided to pay a visit to the boy. And so that is how I got to know that the boy indeed was not really with the minister in her home or wherever, but was at the Osu Children's Home. So I inquired from the family, and the family said that, well, they know that the boy is there, but they are not really happy. They visited the boy, and then the condition in which they met the boy, they feel that if they support them, they can cater for the boy, because even if there was negligence on the part of the biological mother and then the stepmom of the boy, that doesn't mean that the boy does not have a family. The boy has a family, and so they could support them so that they raise the boy up instead of the boy ending up at those children's home.
But you heard the minister explain that she's not backtracking on her promise to take care of this boy or enroll him in his school at Aguna Swedru. But then he's at the Osu Children's Home awaiting the prosthetic arm procedure. But whilst there, he's getting the medical attention that he needs. What else does the family want?
Well, the family says that the boy was initially at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital where the boy was receiving medical attention. So they do not really know what kind of medical attention would be given to the boy at the Sweet Children's Home instead of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital the boy was initially. And then at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, there were some institutions who were in talks with two institutions, one in Ghana that was in close contact with their parent company in the UK that would come, I think, this month to provide a prosthesis for the boy. And there was another promise by a company, a hospital in Tema. And then we did even advertise that they said that, well, the boy's arm should heal, and then they will come and do the measurement. But the first company had already come and measured the length of the boy, the length of the arm of the boy that was left, and then they were in the process of procuring the prosthesis. So the family said that they would have waged the boy were still at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital receiving the medical care instead of the condition they now find the boy at the Osu Children's Home.
Now, during your interaction, though, during the process of doing the story, you interacted with some other persons who had wanted to take up this young boy, either adopt him or take him through the medical processes. What have they been telling you since they found out that this boy is now at the Osu Children's Home?
In fact, it's a sign. What the sign they have given me, the sign of regret, because they said that if the minister had not come in, those adoption processes and then the care they wanted to give the boy would have gone on successfully. One spoke to me yesterday indicating that the condition of the boy is such that they won't even go to the Osu Children's Home with a doctor to check on the boy and then to provide some medical assistance to the boy. Apart from that, I mean, when the incident happened, many people write in to support the boy and others were coming in with donations and all of that. As soon as the minister's intervention came, they all decided to withdraw. And so no contribution or donation whatsoever came to the boy thereafter. Now, whatever contributions that were made, they are with the Social Welfare Regional Directorate, and then they are in the process of opening a trust account for the boy. And that is what we know about it. But those who wanted to adopt the boy initially, they have expressed some signs of regret when they learned that the minister, because they knew that the minister in her capacity as a minister cannot adopt the boy as she did or she earlier on promised.
So that's my colleague there, Richard Kujo Nyako.
Well, we can now hear from the Center for National Resources for Children with Disabilities. Paul Adamakokodia is the president, joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight.
Welcome, Evans.
Your group has committed in the past to getting little Kofi undergo a procedure to have a prosthetic arm. Can you update us on that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Evans. We had Kofi's issue, and it really touched our heart as a Center for Children with Disabilities. What happened is that we moved to Cape Coast to see him and to measure the hand. The National Resource Center for Children with Disabilities is doing this in partnership with the Western New York STEM Hub. So they also saw the story online, and we connected with them. So we took the measurement and sent it to the Western New York STEM. But what happened was that at the time that was sent, the hand was still in bandage. So they said that, okay, it has to be fully healed before we can do that. So as we speak, one of the country lead for the West African STEM Hub is arriving tomorrow from the U.S. To take the measurement again so that when it comes, it can properly fit. Actually, this is a prosthetic hand built with a 3D printer. So this is not a stiff one. He can use it to play, to lift things, and do his work normal.
So this is still on, and if all goes well with the hand and the healing, we should see Kofi back with a hand that is very useful he can use and grow up with.
Exactly. It's on seriously. And as I speak, as I said, our country lead, when she arrives, is actually bringing one of the prosthetic hand, which we had earlier requested for another boy we found at Sola in the northern region. So on the 18th of July, for example, that hand will be handed over to that particular child, and we hope that we'll measure that of the Kofi again, so that as soon as possible, that one too will be provided for him.
You talk about measuring Kofi's hand again. Do you have access to him, by the way? Because we know he's at the Osu Children's Home as we speak.
Yes, we visited Kofi at the hospital when he was in Cape Coast. We've been following him because we are very much interested. So we asked around and we got to know that he is at the Osu Children's Home, and indeed we have paid him a visit there to check on him.
Grateful for your time there. That's Mr. Paul Anumakodia. He's president for Center for National Resources for Children with Disability.
I want to hear from you on this story. Send me a WhatsApp, 0244340437. I want to quickly return to that big story that many of you are talking about. So it's trending on social media platform. There is a street protest scheduled, I think, for the 13th of this month. Just to oppose it. It has to do with this proposed new chamber for Parliament. Now, the minority in Parliament, they are disputing claims by Speaker Professor Michael Quay that there was a competitive tender bidding process that led to the appointment of Sir David Ajayi as architect for the new parliamentary chamber.
Now, the Speaker at a media briefing last week indicated that David Ajayi had been appointed on the recommendations of the Ghana Institute of Architects.
In fact, we had a tender process by which we had 3 architectural firms competing for this job, 2 from Ghana, 1 from abroad, and overwhelmingly, not only us, but the institution of engineers, what do you call it? The institution of engineers were asked to make an analysis and bring a report which was one-sided, overwhelmingly in favor of those that have now been chosen. So we are making progress, and we are hoping everything will move well.
Well, but minority MP and member of that committee, Kwame Agboja, is disputing this claim.
Which processes did you, by the way, I heard that they said Ghana Institute of Architects and Ghana Institute of Engineers helped them in the process. Under which of the procurement acts is Parliament asked to go and seek the services of those people? By the way, all they can do is to help you in the quality assurance, in a sense that they can help you pre-qualify and say, oh, these consultants are capable because they've got this level of experience and other things. And I have no doubt Sir David J has got a level of experience. But that doesn't take away the fact that he must go through the procurement process. And the last one, has Sir David J's firm been appointed? Who appointed him? And what are the terms of his appointment? What is going to be her fees? How long is this appointment going to be made? But today, after you went, I'm told you guys had another interaction with a leader, and the assumption is that the procurement processes have not been completed. I don't know whether the procurement process for the consultant or the contractor, which one is which?
Just for the records, you're a member of the tender committee,
yes.
And your position is that no processes came to you to choose between 3 different contractors, 3 different consultants, which said David Ajayi was eventually the victor.
Yes, as part of the Schedule 1B of Section 20 of the Act 9.1, the Procurement Act that was reviewed in 2016, Parliament's Entity Tender Committee should have 9 members. 2 members of who have a background in the built environment. By that, I had opportunity to be appointed as one of the members or serving on that committee. We've never even had a meeting before since I was appointed. So I am saying on authority that if they had a meeting, then I wasn't invited, or maybe my invitation got locked up somewhere. And for that basis, knowing very well that you could not appoint a service provider for services like this without the entity tender committee, as far as I'm concerned, even if Sir David J has got an appointment letter, that letter is null and void. If Sir David Ajay produces a letter today of appointment, I'll tell you that letter is illegal.
Now, he says any move to get the building started will be illegal.
Is the Entity Tender Committee of Parliament aware? They are not aware because I'm a member of that committee. And so this must be made clear. Look, if out of the public outcry, some people want to come in line with public opinion, that is good. Because after all, when you lead people, you can take decisions that you realize that may not be right. In fact, we attempted implementing the compulsory road vehicle towing, isn't it? When the people say they don't like it, we pull the brake. So if I don't like this, I'm not sure of this middle ground. I will bring it to the plenary, the trophies. You were going to do sword cutting last month, which didn't come on. The people say they don't want it. And as a matter of fact, this chamber is enough for us to carry on business for some time. And I made a point, when the statement was read about the Canadian commemoration of their 152nd anniversary, I made the point that the day I saw the government of Ghana attempting to demolish the old parliament building to build offices for Shraj, I thought that was like striking the heart of Ghana, because you don't want history in this country. And unfortunately, this building was not meant to be a parliamentary building, but we converted it to it. It's got history behind it. What is this rush to build a new chamber? Britain has got enough money. The GDP of Canada is over $2 trillion. They could build a new chamber in every province, but they don't do that. So this idea that, to draw the distinction that the minority leader was at a meeting, should he have avoided attending a call of the speaker? And there was no point in time at that meeting that a decision was taken. Minority leader, we want to build a parliamentary chamber. Do you like it or not? Did you see anything like that? It was never done. It was never done. So I want you to go back and ask those people promoting this project. One.
So he says that, talking about people promoting this project, one of the chief proponents of this is the majority leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, who's been advocating for the construction of the $200 million project. In fact, yesterday on PM Express, he says that he will put the estimated cost of the project at $150 million. And he argues for this, says that security reasons are one reasons why, including the fact that people in the press gallery, which is right above where the speaker sits, could pour acid on the speaker if that particular house isn't completely remodeled into a new one. So we went to his constituency today.
Exactly.
Just
the
to
Swami
check.
magazine.
Exactly.
And they've been speaking about it. For them, a factory is more important at this point than a parliamentary chamber.
As I'm talking to you now, Ghana do not need fixed assets. Ghana don't have to ship this amount of money in building fixed assets. Ghana have to release the money into our systems. We, for example, here in Swami magazine, we need a factory. What factory am I talking about? We bring scraps, and we have to carry the scraps to Volta Aluminium Company for the scrap to be melted in order to get something out of it.
We have your MP leading this charge. What do you think?
Our MP is not on the route, as I'm talking to you right now. I've never seen chairmen servicing in Swami magazine before, unless elections.
As I'm talking to you now, dollar is about 4.5. So let's say if $1 million is committed to cities, it will be around 45 billion. So 45 billion times 200, the amount is too much. And what we need now in Ghana, and some particular, is that we need more infrastructures. Our roads, network are no good. And the youth in the system, those who just wrote the WASI, they are also in the house.
You think we don't know the value of the money? $1 million is 40 billion cedis, and you are going to use 200 million for a new chamber. Don't they like the current one? Are they not supposed to share opinions there? Or they are going to sleep there? They are aces unless they are looking for an avenue to spend money. We can build it for them with just 1 million.
So you have there some constituents of the majority leader, Chairman Sabonsu there, especially at the Swami magazine.
And it has to be said, in Parliament, so far, only 3 individuals have been heard publicly vehemently supporting this. Chairman Sabonsu, Harun Edrisu, and the Speaker of Parliament. And tomorrow, I'm sure if you join us, we'll be in Haruna Drusu's constituency as well, gauging the mood there from his own constituency about this.
Also used to be the Adenta constituency, right?
Well, it used to be.
Dom Kwabinya.
Yes.
Dom Kwabinya.
I mean, and if you live in a constituency, what are you saying to your MPs about this? I want to hear from you on this as well. 0244 340 437
on WhatsApp and also on Telegram. Now let's do some other stories, because this is something that I'm sure people are talking about, and many public schools across the country are faced with serious infrastructural challenges, which often reflects in the quality of pupils they produce, especially those schools in rural Ghana. The story of the St. Mary's RC Basic School is not so different, except despite the school's challenges, both the pupils and teachers are refusing to give up. NS Mini traveled to Intom in the Central Region, where the school is, and reports of a people determined to beat the odds.
I therefore put before the House that teenage pregnancy rate has become the headache on our country needs to be addressed.
9-year-old Akosua Adoma Owusu is the leader of the Diaso District Child Parliament in the Central Region. She is confident and very eloquent. In her open-air chamber of parliament, she addresses very critical issues that affect her and children within the district.
Let's now hear the views of members of both sides.
But when she leaves her chamber and returns to her school, the St. Mary's RC Basic School, that confidence evaporates.
In school or our school, when you come in the morning, you see the goat's feces on the compound in our classroom. It is not good, we don't have a wall. Our nursery or KG, it is the one we use to build our house, roofing sheets.
The structure is uncompleted. They have no doors or windows. This roofing sheet is what blocks the classroom, but that is not enough to prevent goats from entering into the classroom. And already the stench here is very, very nauseating. And Akosua eloquently tells us how this has been affecting the academic work.
Sometimes you can hit. Then when you are opening it to, the stick can hit your leg. Our windows, when it rains, the rain come in, and sometimes we have to close and go home. Our bus even gets wet.
The teachers, though dedicated, are equally demoralized by the very place they are expected to impart knowledge and raise the country's future leaders. Isaac Ejekum Asamoah is the head teacher.
You come to school and you are not happy because what you come and meet in the school. Animals are disturbing, are defecating in our classrooms every day. We need to wash and allow it to dry for some period of time before the children can go to class and learn. And because of that, some of the teachers, when they come here after some years and look at the situation, then they leave the schools.
Sometimes the frustration reaches unbearable levels. But instead of quitting like some have done in the past, they go extra lengths to help alleviate their plight.
At a point in time, we were lacking desks, so I have to send my teachers to a forest to go and look for a board so that we'll come and make desks so that they'll be able to learn and learn comfortably because we don't have money.
So with no doors, no windows, inadequate furniture, and just one computer which even e-waste scavengers would reject, Akosua sent out her message to the president.
Mr. President, please, I want you to help us build our school. We went for a program and World Vision have come and built a toilet for us. So, Mr. President, I want you also help and build my school or our school for us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Until these challenges are addressed, inequalities in the education sector will continue to widen. Ernest Minu for Joy News.
So listen to News Night on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me bring you a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console. So a lot of you are talking about the new parliamentary chamber as proposed. This one says a new chamber for our parliamentarians is needless in a developing country with small population like Ghana. And this one from the Savannah region, Honorable Yuba, says, I tell you, the current chamber can contain even 500 members of parliament if the seats are rearranged properly. In fact, using this huge amount to build a chamber for parliamentarians, while some of us can't go to our hometowns due to bad nature of the roads, it's simply not on.
And this one says, this new chamber in which our parliamentarians want to build, I'll advise them to reconsider their decision because the state doesn't have that huge amount to build that chamber. Poor country like this, and see how parliamentarians are. Okay. And then this one from Latif Tijani from Kwembi says, if the parliamentarians think that the Parliament House is too small for them, then they should adopt the double track system. Samuel Mensah in Kumasi says, all critical thinking Ghanaians must ensure that current MPs are punished during 2020 elections by voting them out from office if they approve the construction of the proposed new parliamentary chamber. Our leaders indeed are not prioritizing important issues affecting the nation.
Let's do business now, and George is joining us to talk money. Hello, George. You have some $200 million to spare?
Not really, but my wish is that depreciation sets in so that the value goes down. Maybe to about 5 million Ghana cedis or even $1 million Ghana cedis.
Well, we'll see. That could be possible.
Well, Divans, coming up in business, petroleum prices are expected to witness another reduction this week, and case between former shareholders of the Fangini Bank and receiver now set to return to arbitration hearing after a High Court ruling. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Promo way there, I had there. Some you see me momo. If you say MTN Echimacha there no, Edia 2 turbo. Brand new Samsung 65-inch UHD smart TV. Na brand new 2019 Hyundai. And I feel 3,000 Ghana there. You should say mono. MTN momo. Still Misaka. The journey of 1,000 smiles. Yashasya 10 years ago. And to celebrate this milestone, MTN give you away exciting prizes in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Yeah, you use momo no. You could win one of the 2019 Hyundai i10 cars. Yes, some Samsung smart TVs for baby. And they up to 3,000 cedis e-cash every month. And a grand prize, 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe in the MTN Momo at 10 promo. Into signing on and they keep using your MTN Momo. Now when you big, if it's happening, you see August only on Ghana's best network. Dial *120#. Now check your points. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
The best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Honey, I need to get some.
But I don't have cash on me. Let me get some fuel quickly and let's go.
And how are you going to get the fuel? I thought you said you didn't have cash on you. What is this one?
My Puma card.
All it takes is a card. The Puma card allows you to buy fuel cash-free from all Puma energy filling stations. You can use your Puma card with any Visa point of sale and ATM across the country. The Puma card also works on mobile money. You get amazing discounts when you fill up with your Puma card. So register for free and get your Puma card instantly at any Puma filling station.
And you only got one for yourself, eh?
Yeah, well, I've had my peace of mind.
Oh, thank you, honey.
And where are you going?
I'm getting something from the shop real quick. I need to test the card.
Puma card. Cash-free convenience.
The Electoral Commission will undertake a revision of the voters' register in all the district offices of the Electoral Commission from Monday, 17th June 2019 to Sunday, 7th July 2019 between the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day and including Saturdays and Sundays during the registration. The objective of the registration is to afford Ghanaians who have attained the age of 18 years and others who are more than 18 years but for various reasons could not register during the previous registration to do so. A person qualifies to register as a voter if he or she is a Ghanaian of a sound mind who has attained 18 years and is a resident or an ordinary resident in an electoral area where he or she would like to vote. There will be additional registration centers in difficult to access electoral areas. The public should contact their district and regional offices to help them to locate the registration centers. A person who is qualified to register but whose name is not already on the register will be required to show proof of eligibility by submitting any of the following documents: a Ghanaian passport, national ID card, or the Ghana card, driver's license, or an old voter's ID card. Applicants who do not have any of the identification documents listed above are required to find 2 people who are already registered voters to complete documents to guarantee their registration. Remember, the limited voters registration will begin from Monday, 17th June 2019 to Sunday, 7th July 2019 between the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Register to vote. Your vote is your power. So vote is your power. Register to vote.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on News 9. Now, prices of petroleum products are expected to witness some marginal reduction at the pumps this week. Now, this is in line with the price review every 2 weeks by the oil marketing companies. Earlier on, I put together these analysis and take a listen. The expected reduction is being influenced by the marginal stability in prices of crude oil on the international market and a fairly stable Ghana cedi. Based on our calculations and industry data, a litre of diesel will be reduced by about 1% and will sell at 5 Ghana cedis, 14 pesos. This should translate into 23 Ghana cedis, 13 pesos per gallon, representing about 6 pesos reduction, while diesel on the other hand will go down by 10 pesos or more than 2%, resulting in a gallon going for 22 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos. At the previous review, most of the oil marketing companies did not adjust their prices downwards as was projected. Joy Business. Some of them attributed this to the Energy Ministry's directive for them to start applying the stabilization levy on petroleum products. So there's a likelihood that out of the over 100 oil marketing companies, only a few may adjust their prices as projected by Joy Business. Two other stories in the case between shareholders and directors of defunct Unibank and the receiver, which is expected to return to arbitration. Now, this was after an Accra High Court threw out an application by the receiver of a defunct Unibank, that is Nia Madodu, who sought to stop the arbitration hearing. Lawyer, that is here upon counsel for one of the former directors of the defunct Unibank, he had been speaking to Joy Business about the next line of action.
Today, not only was the suit dismissed, everything that had been filed in respect of pending suit, including the injunction, have all been struck out. So there's nothing before the High Court. So it means that once we get the ruling certified, the arbitration tribunal will be informed, as we had earlier on been directed, and we'll go ahead with the arbitration procedure. Well, first of all, there's no case against the directors and shareholders of Unibank at the High Court. They filed an appeal before the Court of Appeal, so that's pending. But as I'm speaking to you now, there's nothing that restrains us from going to the arbitration. So we are just looking forward to informing the arbitrator, and based on his direction, we will go back to him to resolve the matter.
Lawyer Yapong is counsel for some of the directors of the defunct Unibank. Now, Greek workers have welcomed moves by Ghana and Ivory Coast to improve the earnings of cocoa farmers in their respective countries. Now, this was after the two agreed on additional $400 for every ton of cocoa sold on the international market. Now, this is coming after they agreed on a floor price of $2,600 for every ton sold. That is coming from next year. But General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Caraway, tells Joy Business he's worried about the sustainability of this new pricing structure.
When you are dealing with primary products, you also need to be conscious about its vulnerable nature. So it therefore puts any person who has to use cocoa as a bargaining power at a very weak point. So Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, they have all the best of intentions for their countries and work hard, but they need to be cautious because if they are unable to get away with what they want to do, the consequences may be dire for their economies. That is where we need to be more cautious in the way we push for this best of things for the two countries.
Edward Cairo is General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. Now, vegetables and fruit farmers, the exporters, will land a 12-month ban should they produce their produce failed to meet quality standard tests, that is 3 times. That's according to the Agric Ministry. The move is to ensure that Ghanaian exporters meet international standards. That is, Prudence Atipo is Deputy Director at the Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate at the Agric Ministry.
What we've introduced is that because we have trained the farmers and exporters with the protocols, every time if they have issues, we give them corrective measures. We are now saying that if you have any interception or you fail a lab test, have local interception or international interception for 3 times, you will be banned.
Prudence Atipo is Deputy Director at the Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate at the Agric Ministry. Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange performance for last year can likely be attributed to the banking crisis. The volume of shares traded for the year 2018 was 201 million, that is valued at 659 million Ghana cedis, now compared to what actually it recorded for last year. But Chairman of the Council, Albert Essien, is hopeful about things improving this year.
Exchange is also an institution that also plays in the economy. And so when you have a bit of sluggish growth, a bit of a downturn, it goes with it. But you could see that it started bouncing back getting to the latter part of 2018. The banking sector crisis brought a bit of it disoriented a lot of investors. The sudden drop in the CD also disoriented a lot of our clientele. So these were things that brought some difficulties.
Albert Essien is Council Chair of the Ghana Stock Exchange. In a related development, the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Kofi Yama, will be retiring, that is in October this year, having attained the statutory retirement age, that after 29 years of service at the Ghana Stock Exchange. Wish him all the best as he moves on.
Customer-oriented, superior services, your success of trusted, innovative financial services, providing affiliation, support and solutions. Customer-oriented, superior services, your success of 10 good years of loyalty, service with integrity, protective of our Ghanaian brand. 10 years of excellence, 10 years of loyalty, your success of passion, oh yeah, your success of passion.
Your success, our passion.
Get 100% bonus when you top up airtime with Vodafone Cash. Dial *110# to top up now. If you know, you know.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Thank you, folks. On my A list today, show some love for Contractor EB. So, Contractor, what do you think about the country's changing skyline?
Oh, send them down there, Shurima. Across skyline, they change you, papa.
Wow. Contractor, don't you get worried when you hear of buildings collapsing?
I'm not for an one on Tassam. It is the likability of using low quality product.
Please explain why.
Yeah, cement is no quality on your gasem. Village of Fefu. It was built with gasem. Says the gasem is your construction. Osi ho pumping. Sha N1, Kejete Market, Kotokana Kumasi Airport, Cape Coast Stadium, Atrabu Gas Project in Gasebo, Messi, what the quality, you know what is the quality.
Gasem, 3 cement grades, greater value. Gasem, the nation builder.
It's time to experience something different, unexpected, and definitely beyond banking. It's a new era at GCB Bank, Ghana's most welcoming bank, where we offer you a world of financial security, flexibility, and convenience. We swiftly serve you with over 180 branches and 300 ATMs, and provide e-banking solutions that make it possible for you to bank anywhere, anytime. When you need a personal loan, sooner is better than later, so we give it to you in 24 hours to make sure the experience is always memorable. At GCB, your opportunities are limitless and we keep you smiling at all times. We're bigger and better, ready to take you beyond banking. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. You're welcome back.
Now, 3 journalists, Emmanuel Ajafo Ebugri, Emmanuel Brichum, both from the online portal Morning Ghana, and Peace FM's Obin Menu have been slapped with 3 charges following their arrest and interrogation by the National Security and Police CID. The journalists were picked up from their offices last week in connection with alleged hacking, cyber crime, and later released by the National Security. Now, Peace FM editor Yaobe Menu was subsequently invited and questioned over the same matter. One of the journalists, Emmanuel Ajafo Abugri, has since leveled allegations of torture against the National Security, a claim they've vehemently denied. His other colleague, Emmanuel Brichum, in a statement issued on his behalf, says he was neither tortured nor brutalized. His statement is, however, now being challenged. Here's a news desk report.
Editor Emmanuel Ajafo were last week detained by National Security. Both men were accused of indulging in cybercrime. Mr. Ajafo had alleged that he was tortured.
Then they gave it to me.
You mean continuous slapping?
Yes, because this person will slap, then this person will also
Already
continue.
your hands were tied behind?
Yes, so this person gives, this person follows. So pa and pa from here.
A claim denied by the National Security Secretariat. But yesterday, Mr. Brichum issued a statement claiming he neither witnessed Mr. Ajafo being tortured or brutalized, although Mr. Brichum had earlier been represented by lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenini. Until about 12 noon yesterday, his statement issued 5 hours later was done on his behalf by another lawyer, Deborah Asabre Amiyao. Madam Asabre Amiyao said her client was not held in the same room as Mr. Ajafo.
He was in a different room whilst Mr. Ajafo was also in another room.
So he couldn't have known what was happening to Mr. Ajafo in that other room?
Exactly so.
However, lawyer Samson Ladi Ayenini, who first represented Mr. Brichum, had revealed that the reporter had earlier claimed he was assaulted while in the custody of National Security.
I took my time painstakingly, asked them one question after the other, and actually told them to their face that I will not be representing people who are not honest. And so, for once, for twice, for 3 times and more, I asked them, and they repeated their answer, which was one. We were assaulted.
Speaking on the Super Morning Show today, Emmanuel Ajafo said his colleague Emmanuel Brichum confirmed he was assaulted after they were released. He added that they subsequently reported a case of assault.
So when I came out, I decided that I was going to court to find out whether my brother has been released. Then he told me that he was released on Friday, and he indicated the fact that he was slapped several times and tasered once on his knee. On Sunday, we both met my boss in the evening for the first time after our release. And then my boss asked us questions with regards to what is happening in the media. I narrated my audio, and he did. So from there, we went straight to report a case of assault. I reported a case of assault. Emmanuel Brichum reported a case of assault. So we both reported a case of assault at the Legon police station on Sunday, 30th. So we were given a medical form to go to Legon Hospital.
The Accra Central District Police Command continues to probe the allegation of cybercrime, although both journalists are yet to be charged.
So we are also now learning about the charges that have now been slapped on these journalists. MFA, what are these?
So it's conspiracy to commit crime, stealing, and then, of course, unauthorized access to electronic records. These are the charges that have been slapped on all 3 of these journalists. We are yet to know when they will go to court, though. But we're checking as and when we get that, we'll let you know.
And we're saying we're yet to know, although the National Security Secretariat, in the statement issued this week earlier, had been very categorical that the 2 journalists will be arraigned on Tuesday. That didn't happen, and we still know wiser when it will happen. While the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, has been speaking about this. He wants a thorough probe because it has a tendency of denting Ghana's image.
If there's any president in this country who has fought extremely hard to expand the frontiers of press freedom, it must be Nana Akufo-Addo. And if it is true, what you are telling me, he himself will be very worried about that, because it will really represent a retrogression in the performance of his government. And I believe if it is true, he'll be concerned.
What should happen to establish the veracity or otherwise of this claim? Should there be a formal probe into this?
Well,
because there's a claim of a journalist against the national security. What should happen?
First of all, we need a report from medical officer who would examine him, because if a person has been tortured, certainly, and how long is it ago?
This was last week, Thursday to Friday.
Last week, less than 7 days, less than 1 week. I mean, the marks of torture should be there, or perhaps beneath the skin layer, which the doctors will be able to establish, right? Which any facility, any equipment should be able to establish. And if it's so established, then those of them should be, who handled the young man, a man, I should think.
Yes, a young man, yes.
Should be brought to, account for.
You want to see sanctions for those, if it's established that indeed
if it's established. Because we cannot go back.
Yeah.
Where we
to
are
that
as a
base of
nation,
culture of silence.
I mean, we are making progress. We've seen instances, and it's not new. But if it's not new and it's condemnable, it was condemnable yesterday, it must be condemnable today as well, in order to move us forward.
But should a media house even be raided by national security in today's Ghana, even if the media house has done something wrong, is that, and detain them for 48 hours? Yes, the Constitution says you can, but should it happen in a democracy?
I'm saying that really, I don't know the details. So I don't want to jump the cat and make specific pronouncements when I don't know the details. If I'm so served with relevant information, I can speak to it.
And that is the Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osechi Mensah Bonsu, speaking on PM Express last night. And tonight on the business edition of PM Express, you want to join my colleague George Yafe, who is discussing improving pension benefits in Ghana, a matter of regulation or increasing workers' pay. Dr. John Ofori-Tinkrine is the Director General at SNIT, will be on the show together with Hayford Atta Krofi, who is the CEO of National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Leslie Dwight Mensah is with the Institute of Fiscal Studies. They'll all be on the show tonight. Don't want to miss it. Pensions concerns every single person, and the individuals lined up for the discussion really know what they're about. You don't want to miss that. Let's bring in Hans Mensah Ando, a man who's looking forward to retiring somewhere when he's 90 years old, so he can
90.
You don't want to retire at 90? You want to retire earlier than that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody dreams of retiring, quite young and enjoying.
You want to retire at 40?
No, I mean, 40 is too early for me.
Because 40, you were 40 last year.
That's my football age.
Okay, what do you have in sports?
Right, so former Minister for Youth and Sports, Nilanti van der Poel, has condemned the government for flying supporters to Egypt for the Africa Cup of Nations. Government has flown some 100 supporters to Egypt to go cheer the Black Stars as Ghana aims to win a 5th AFCON title. But Nilanti van der Poel has described the move as criminal, since it was made without parliamentary approval. The former minister was speaking on our sister station, Asempa FM.
So the supporters actually went there as tourists. At whose expenditure? So it means that Ghana government has the minister has taken the taxpayers' money to take supporters on an excursion. Masa, it's a criminal. Did they get parliamentary approval to spend that money? What is the amount of money that was approved for the Ministry of Youth and Sports in the budget? People will answer questions. I'm telling you, people will answer questions. Say, who can about the need of players? Say players is someone need supporters. What has that got to do with the excursion?
So that was Nilanti van der Poel speaking there on supporters who have been flown to Egypt to support the Black Stars as Ghana aims to win that 5th Africa Cup of Nations title. And for Chelsea fans, Frank Lampard is your new manager on a 3-year contract, and Evans Mensah is excited. You've shifted.
I'm excited for Chelsea. Yes.
You've moved to Chelsea now.
No. I'm excited because they're going to struggle just like us. Sankuma, good evening. I mean, that's exactly what I'm sure is going to happen. I mean, because 41 years old, he's in with Derby County, because he was playing in the league that
just lost out on promotion.
We'll see. I'm very certain this new season
he'll win the league.
Which league? I was saying that last season.
The Premier League.
I was saying that we are winning the league until we didn't win the league. Well, let's talk about another league, a league of its own, a league in which the poker drinkers who have been knocked out, Ola girls. Let's do the National Science and Maths quiz now. MFA, you're laughing too loudly. Is it that your poker drinking school Ola girls were knocked out earlier, or because it's been a smacking start to the quarterfinal round of contest at the ongoing National Science and Maths Quiz competition? High flying Presec Legon, I'm very jealous. They took the round by storm, ramping to an emphatic victory over, guess what? Pope John's Senior High School by a whopping 25 points. Mr. Ponkruma, good evening. The 5-time champions are firmly on course to win the record-set trophy. The atmosphere in the auditorium was simply electric.
At the end of the contest, here are the final scores. St. John's School has 22 points. Pope John Senior High School has 47 points. Presec Legon has 68 points.
Well, that's what happened in the contest there. And a short while ago, Adisadel College qualified for the quarterfinals by beating Ghana Senior High Tamale and the Kumasi Academy.
We are a set of formulae. We are much in use in trigonometry. Yusuf.
Compound angles.
I can't accept, I continue. An example of us is sine of A plus B. Yes, Asante.
Compound angle formula.
Yes. And that's the end of the 5th round.
Well, in another contest, Opoku Warrior class St. Ignatius of Loyola and University Practice to book their place in the semis. Let's join my colleague Maxwell Agbagba, who is there with my colleague MFA Jadosi, and MFA Jadosi is on the line with me. Hello, MFA.
Hi, Evan.
Yes, and I know you and Maxwell have been having fun with this, although both of you have schools who have been knocked out already.
Is West Africa Senior High School still in the competition?
But did she go to West Africa High School?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Are you still in the competition?
Hello?
I'm asking, you can hear me. Is West Africa Senior High School still in the competition?
MFA, so the different contest just actually.
Yes, tell us about it.
All right, so at different college, I mean, they won, but I would say that at the beginning they were leading with about a margin of 18 points. That's around round 2. But guess what? At the end of the 5th round, Kumasi Academy closed the gap, and so they managed to score 42 points, while at this other college, that is Boys, managed to put 46. So after the round 5, the difference was just about 4, from about 18 to 4. So that should tell you that it became a very close contest. But then Adisadel College has booked its place in the semi-finals. So what it means is that Adisadel College will be locking horns with Opoku Wari School and also the Presbyterian Boys, the Blue Boys, at the semi-finals.
Now tell me about something that is going to happen tomorrow. It's getting my heart to palpitate.
So guess what? Evans, I know your school was kicked out by Achimota School. Achimota School will be competing with Wesley Girls School and also Prempeh College. Prempeh College, if you remember, Prempeh College has the lowest point. I mean, the lowest scoring points in the 1-8 stage. They had 25 points, and that's still the lowest. And so they'll be meeting Wesley Girls School that managed to pull 55 points in the contest, and also Achimota School. And so basically, it's going to be a very interesting contest. Right now, you cannot easily predict who would win because you may think that Prempeh had 25, and so they are weak. But who knows? They may be coming with their A game this time.
So tomorrow, the contest is Prempeh, Achimota, Wegehe. This is what, semi-final clash?
This is a quarter-final.
This is a quarter-final. This is this is a contest for the final. It befits a contest for the gods, really. What time is this?
This is actually at 1.
And it's going to be live both on Joy 99.7 FM and on the Joy News channel. The only places you can hear it live. Thank you very much. Well, my wife's school is in there.
So you're definitely supporting Wege, right?
If I don't, I can't go home tomorrow. I have to do this.
And they must win as well.
They must win. You know, I also believe in feminism. You know, like, the women's cause. They will win against Achimota and Prempeh. Well, I don't have a choice really on this matter. My life depends on it. MFA Pau, I'm sad to say that the Kokeke drinkers, your former school, are out. But
let me
better luck
say that
next
the
time.
girls have apologized
For drinking Kokeke when others were competing in National Science and Maths quiz.
it was when they had completed their
It's okay, so you don't apologize. We know you are sorry. We'll see you next year.
So uncharacteristic.
That's it for Newsnight. My name is Evans Mensah, and I'm here with Papa. Did you used to drink Kokeke, by the way?
Never.
No, but okay. Yeah, you did science.
Yes,
you did
I was
science.
a science
Okay,
student.
well, enjoy it. Tomorrow, don't make a day. 1 p.m. Prempe Achimota Wege here.